Welcome to Web Studio D and our digital coloring of Sophia from Code of Edoc. She was scanned in at 600 dBi as her sketch, and once that's in, we go straight to Photoshop. We use the sketch filter with the stamp option, and what it does is it helps solidify the lines. Once that's done, we'll take a look at it. A little clunky, but I like that. I think a little texture is nice in a character. We'll go ahead and use eraser. And we'll also go ahead and use our pencil and clean it up a little bit so that it's clear. And then once that's done, of course, we'll go ahead and make the background transparent so we can begin the process of coloring in Sophia. What I want to do now is make a second layer, go back to the first layer, do a copy, and then do a paste onto the second layer. This gives me two layers of the lines. I'll go ahead and line them up perfectly. And now I can go ahead and use my paint bucket to fill in and to add my colors to Sophia and speed up the process of coloring. Going to do something a little different this time. Dropping in colors, yes. Getting ready to give them the tint, tone, and shade values, yes. What I'd like to do, though, is color in those black lines, too, without affecting anything else I'm doing. And this can be achieved very simply by using your layers. What you're going to do is, once you have your colors in place on your second layer, go back to your first layer. And we're going to apply a button that's going to help us out a lot. That button is going to be the lock, and it says lock transparent pixels. And what this does is anything that's transparent cannot be affected, but anything that is pixelized, like the outline, allows us to color it in. This gives us so many more options now in coloring our characters and having fun. And here's a finished image of Sophia, and you can see the orange we've applied to her hair. And you can see the pink we've applied to her ribbon. And then we can see the colors that we've applied to her smock that she's wearing. Once we're ready, we'll stay on that layer that is just the lines and that the lock transparent pixels has been activated. You can see the lock on that layer and begin putting in the color for the hair, and then go ahead and put in the color for the ribbon. And finally put in the color for the outline of the smock that she's wearing. Once that's done, I like to go ahead and use the magic wand and select the different color areas on the second layer now. And I'll go ahead and use my tint, tone, and shade again and start bringing out a little bit of 3D. Doesn't have to be a lot in this case. She's not a very realistic character. It's more fun. It's more pretty. Unlike Blaster, I hope you all took a look at Blaster, who had a lot more texture going on. She's a little softer character, so I wanted to use softer colors and softer techniques to bring out the best in Sophia. Now, once you do select something with the magic wand, you can always go back and use a gradient fill or a pattern fill to do your coloring as well. That gets a little overdone in Photoshop for webcomics, but if it works for the moment, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, take the time to paint. Might as well. It's there for you, and it's a lot of fun. All right, one last thing I'm going to do with Sophia is play around with her background. I was not pleased with the solid green, and I prepared some paper backgrounds to put behind her to make a decision which would make her pop and look the best. Well, not always the best. Some things just a little too much. Simplicity sometimes is the best. Go ahead and drop that in, change the opacity, get another brush, start putting in a little bit of shadow around her to make her pop. And we have the finished product of Sophia from Code of Edoc, pretty as a button, and happy to say hi. This is Pete from Web Studio D, being silly. Join us again for our next episode. Thanks for tuning in.